Hello, hello. Happy belated New Year's. This is Marcus B. Calvert, Tales Unlimited, and sorry I didn't drop newsletters sooner for those of you who've been following my newsletters. Some people I'm still in their spam filters, I suspect. Anyway, um, hope the holidays were nice. Mine were busy. I just treated them like any other day and just kept plunking and plunking and plunking on. Although I have to say, Witcher, second season, nice. Don't Look Up on Netflix, awesome movie. Those are two interesting ways to pass the time, I can assure you. And then the rest was writing, finishing stuff up, stuff I started in 2020, polished it through 2021. I'd say stuff is about ready to drop. The next book I intend to put out there is Battery Volume 4. For those of you who aren't familiar with the Battery series, there are 200 writing prompts per book and some wisdom on how to get started as a writer. Now, if you're a professional writer, all you need is maybe one prompt. But if you're just getting started, maybe you should do it my way, the way I got started, where I sat down and wrote over 100 short stories and then pursued my first novel. The idea being, if you master your small game, you can finish what you start. You have a good writing plan, strategy, habit, if you will. Then when you go after a novel, it's so much easier. Also, if you write 100 short stories, you have 100 little vessels of ideas, names, storylines, weapons, tricks of the story you told there that you can maybe steal from yourself and put into a book, almost like a toolkit to build a house, right? Each book is that house. And I would also say never stop writing short stories. They have 1,001 little uses, like marketing yourself to absolute strangers really fast. If you want to read a short story in 5 minutes versus trying to read an entire book, or your not so strong first chapter, probably a good idea. Next book after that will probably be The Antagonist Cookbook, 2021's bestseller out of my house. And by that I mean I have 14 books, and that one crushed them. Crushed any others that came close. The anthologies, the novels. People just looked at that cover and went, wait a minute, is that a cookbook? Kinda. See, for those of you who aren't familiar with The Antagonist Cookbook, it is where I took 200 randomly created characters, almost like the mindset of someone creating characters for a role-playing system, because this is what it's based off of. But then you put them in a set of pages in a book, and then you randomly flip to the pages in the book with an ID in your head. So if you want to come up with Winnie the Pooh Super Spy, and then you flip to a page, and you're looking through the powers that will be best suited to Winnie the Pooh Super Spy. Flip, flip, flip. You may have a different Winnie the Pooh every time, but you'll have it within minutes. It's a method. It's a shortcut. It's a beautiful cheat. I use it whenever I need to create a character on the fly, and I don't want to spend too much time thinking on it. Even if it's a minor character that my protagonist has to kill in chapter 3, or my main villain at the end of the book. I love those. And then I guess I'm going to go into the novels after that. When is Antagonist Cookbook Volume 2 dropping? I want to say late spring. And then after that, Tyrant's Bane, my very first standalone novel based on the I Villain world. So I guess you could say it's a spinoff, really, but it feels like a standalone because it doesn't have any of the other characters in it, right? So it's like, haha, boom, spinoff standalone right there. And it starts off with a battery prompt as my trigger. It was you go to your bachelor party, you get hammered, you wake up on a fantasy world. It doesn't go as smoothly as the prompt would suggest. It's more like this paramedic is enjoying his bachelor party, and then fantasy world. And I'm not going to spoil it, but ooh, goody. And then Scorch Mine. Yes, I'm still working on it. I have to say, I'm liking where it's going though. It's like I've cornered it, and I'm just gonna pummel it until it's ready. It's like making a katana. This last book. Uh, I want to say it's the last book of the I Villain series, but I know better. I'll probably keep going. But then I'm going to do some more standalones based on that world, or spinoffs. Spinoffs, standalones. All right, I'm going to have to like figure out which one is the more appropriate term and go from there. Sorry, folks. And oh yes, short stories. I think I may even drop those on a newsletter. I've been doing short stories again for the Book of Schemes and for Unheroic because, well, I've completed both trilogies, but now I have to do book 4 of both. So give me time. Of course, what the holidays do to me is, well, I should be writing about unlikely heroes in the spirit of Christmas. Instead, I'm writing about schemes, and boy, are they dark. So, Book of Schemes will probably reach the finish line of 25 good short stories first, but I have to account for the fact that some of them just won't make the cut. Happens. Or they'll just be useful for book material, perhaps. All right. I'm Marcus V. Calvert. This is Tales Unlimited. Thanks for checking out my website. Thanks for being on my newsletter. And please feel free to check out the books on Amazon and Kindle. 14 so far, but not for much longer. Have a nice.